It wasn't a good end though, was it? Anytime you went the round, getting dropped. Look at this. Cannonier looking for the finish. Senses it. Looking sharp, fast. Hurts him with the jab. Couple of big wild hooks. Rips to the body as well. Robocop is hurt. He goes down and that is it. Herb Dean steps in. Jared Cannonier turns back the clock. Says, don't forget about me. I'm going nowhere. So the main event just finished. Gregory Robocop Rodriguez taking on Jared Cannonier, the Killa Gorilla, the perennial contender in the 185-pound division. Now, Robocop was great. He was deadly. He was lethal. He was quick. He was slick. He was dominating the fight in round one. And then he got tired, okay? He went out there and he put a pretty good beating on Jared Cannonier in round one. He looked really sharp. He opened up with some slick body kicks, just cracking the midsection one after the other. Very, very vicious with the hands. He looked absolutely gigantic at 185 pounds. And it seemed that every single shot that he landed had massive consequences. Jared Cannonier hit the canvas on a couple of occasions. The reason I kind of hesitate when I say that is because he was kind of going backwards and he was knocked off balance. However, he did hit the canvas twice. You could argue that he was dropped twice. Jared then turned into a wrestler, grabbed the single legs, blew off the cobwebs and all the rest of it. Showed the veteran capability and the experience that he has. Then in round two, we started seeing a very different fight, okay? Gregory Rodriguez is really big for the weight class. So I'm guessing that he has a monster weight cut. Also, he's big, he's fast, he's powerful. He's got that fast twitch muscle fiber. I always say, and it's a cliche at this point, you can't be a sprinter and a marathon runner at the same time, okay? It's just impossible. He's really, really good in the first round. He's got world-class jiu-jitsu that he seemingly never uses these days, because when you've got the kind of power that he has and you hit people and they hit the canvas, that is addictive. It's one thing choking people out, using the gentle art to subdue your opponent, but cracking somebody in the face and watching them hit the canvas and fold and fall apart and blood gush out of the face, that is an addictive feeling, and that is something very different. So he's fallen in love with it, and I don't blame him. I understand why. And recently, that has been paying off for him. I mean, he was on a 3-fight win streak. He beat Christopher Leroy Duncan, knocked out Brad Tavares, knocked out Dennis Tululin, amongst many, many others. But you've got to be able to maintain that pace, and he couldn't do that. Jared Cannonier, smaller guy, absolutely ripped, 40 years old. Yes, before that, he'd lost his last two. He lost to Kyle Borhaya and he lost to Nasruddin Imavov. Now, we know no shame in either of those guys, because Imavov is now currently ranked number one after stopping Israel Adesanya. And by the way, a lot of people, including me, felt the stoppage against Imavov for Cannonier was absolute bullshit.
This is number one bullshit.
So he came back with a little bit of pressure on his shoulders. Has he still got it? Is he still relevant in the middleweight division? Well, the answer is a big fat yes, because after a first round where he had to weather the storm, where he got dropped a couple of times, he came back and he put it on Robocop. Now, Robocop looked like he'd slowed down, but in the third round, he came alive.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
He started going forward, started landing shots, and he got into a good old-fashioned slugfest, okay? But right at the end of round three, big, huge elbow from Jared Cannonier, drops Gregory Rodriguez, puts him on his back. Cannonier's all over him, pounding away, and it looked like he was going to get the stoppage, but the time ran out. Then round four starts. It was just a mere formality. Jared Cannonier picked up where he left off, backed him up against the fence. Beautiful jabs, right hooks, left hook to the body, absolutely crippled him. Gregory Rodriguez turned away, started getting on his bike. Robocop was trying to get out of there, but robots can't run, and he backed up against the fence. Few more right hands, and that was it. That was all she wrote. And Jared Cannonier is still a contender at 185 pounds. That is the storyline of this fight. And who does he face next? Other than Kyle Borhaya, who is a surging contender, and Imavov, who's ranked number one, he's beating most people. Gregory Rodriguez, Marvin Vettori, split decision over Sean Strickland. Yes, he lost in a title fight to Israel Adesanya, beat Derek Brunson, Kelvin Gastelum. You got to go back to 2025, though, when he fought and lost in a close decision-ish to Robert Whittaker. That is the fight. Robert Whittaker, as we know, the last time we saw him was in Saudi Arabia last year. He went up against Khamzat Chimaev. He got choked out. He got finished. He had his teeth squeezed in the very first round. Now, Robert needs to come back. Robert still got it. Robert's still at the top of his game. That's just how good Khamzat Chimaev is. A rematch. 5 years in the making. I think that makes all the sense in the world, okay? Robert would want it because he'd look at it as a good fight to find his mojo, to come back from, to get a win, to get back in the win column, to beat somebody that he's beaten before. And of course, for Jared Cannonier, at 40 years old, Robert Whittaker is a massive household name in mixed martial arts. Everyone would want to see that fight, and it's a chance for Jared to get that one back. So that makes all the sense in the world. Before that, we had Youssef Zalal versus Kelvin Kattar. Kelvin Kattar, 36 years old, he's been around for a while, and he'd lost his last 3 coming into this one. So under a lot of pressure against Youssef Zalal. Zalal, the man signed with the UFC, got let go, came back, and he's on a tear. He's stopping everybody. He was light on his feet. He was really quick. He was moving around constantly in perpetual motion. Kelvin Kattar couldn't locate him. He couldn't track him down. He couldn't corral him against the fence. And he couldn't really land much of anything to start the fight. Youssef Zalal was picking him apart, snapping him with jabs, dropping low kicks, firing knees up the middle, just missing the chin on several occasions. But Kelvin Kattar was off to a slow start and needed to do more. When it came to the third round, it was clear. Kelvin Kattar needed a knockout in the third round, and that's what he tried to do. Fair play. You got to respect Kelvin Kattar, because in the third round, he knew it. Everybody knew it. You don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to have a degree in mixed martial arts or a Hall of Fame statue behind you. Anyone that watched that fight knew that Youssef Zalal was up. So did Kelvin Kattar, and he went forward and he was swinging. He was trying to catch Youssef Zalal, but Youssef Zalal was on his bike. Now, a lot of people might say that he was running. I'd probably agree, but he knew he had the fight in the bag. He didn't want to take any chances, and yes, somewhat that goes against the grain of being a real fighter. Maybe he was fighting too smart, and maybe he was pissing people off, and people in the apex, they were booing. The reality is that Zalal is now on a 4-fight win streak in the UFC, just beat Kelvin Kattar, submitted Jack Shaw, submitted John Owens, and submitted Billy Quarantillo, okay? Tough people to beat. And 4 fights in the featherweight division, the man is on a tear. He's got a great personality. Yeah, the third round was a bit of a snoozer, but so what? Everyone gets a pass. Anderson Silva, one of the most exciting fighters in all of the sport. He had a few snoozers along the way as well. The third round wasn't the best, but rounds 1 and 2, he looked absolutely phenomenal. Next person up for Youssef Zalal, I say, well, right now we just beat Kelvin Kattar, who is ranked number 10. Sitting there at number 9, Aljamain Sterling. Josh Emmett at number 8. I say give him Aljamain Sterling. The man deserves it. He's on a 4-fight win streak and generally has provided a tremendous amount of excitement. Before that, of course, we had Edmund Shabazian taking on Dylan Budker. Now, Edmund Shabazian, he's had some ups and downs. He came off the Contender Series. He looked phenomenal. He's known for his karate style, striking and kickboxing. And tonight, in the first round, he got the job done perfectly. Glided out the way, used the footwork perfectly, came back with the right hand, and that was it. That was all she wrote. And what was so impressive about that was the range management, okay? I did a live stream. I was talking about this. When you want to get out the way, yeah, you can use your feet and really get out the way. But if you get too far out the way, you can't get back in. But when you're skilled and you're technical and you believe in yourself and your countering ability, you move, you shuffle just enough to evade the punch. He did it once. He did it again. And then he came back, boom, he leaned off the back foot, generated a tremendous amount of power. Boom. It was as clean as any boxing coach would ever teach, okay? Anybody watching that had to be wowed by the technique. Beautiful knockout, job well done, and he gets back in the win column. Before that, Nazim Sadikov went up against Ismail Bonfim. That one stopped at the end of the first round. Bonfim was looking good. He was looking dangerous. Nazim Sadikov landed a beautiful question mark kick, gave him a little bit of trouble, got to the end of the first round, and then the referee stopped the fight. I'm not sure exactly what went on there because I was talking and engaging with people on the live stream. I'm a little bit confused as to why the fight stopped. Oh, it was a doctor stoppage. It was a doctor stoppage. It was a cut because of the kick. That seemed a little bit premature if you ask me, but still, I wasn't in there. I wasn't even paying attention. I was chatting to everybody on the live stream. Before that, Andre Petrosky got the job done against Rodolfo Vieira. According to the live stream chat, that was kind of a robbery. But I didn't see it because I was out, because Lucas was at a wrestling tournament, because I was just away in Saudi Arabia. Before that, I was in Sydney. I was traveling the world. I was away for 3 weeks and I had to be present as a father. So I didn't see that one and I didn't see the prelims, but I did see the last 4 fights, and that's what happened. Jared Cannonier is back with a bang. I say that he fights Robert Whittaker next, and Youssef Zalal got the job done over a very gritty, tough, experienced contender in Kelvin Kattar. That's my instant reaction. Now do me a favor. Members videos dropping every single day. If you want to subscribe to the program, you know what to do. Me and Paul Felder going through all the news and funny stories and having a bunch of laughs and bullshit on the Believe You Me podcast. New episode dropping Monday with some of the best guests in the business. Subscribe, ring the bell. Thanks for watching. See you soon.